Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Yep, good morning, guys. Has everyone joined this room? Okay, let's check first. Azka, Dante, and Wimo. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Today, we will discuss about two topics. Which is the first one is variation of English in the word, and then the second is English as a lingua franca. Okay, because I as a moderator or host, I will be the first presenter. Okay, so the first topic is variation of English in the word. So I watched the video. The title is Language Variation in Linguistics. The name of the speaker is Usama Tahir. So he is a graduate of English literature, and I think his credibility can be guaranteed. Okay, so he opened his speech by using an opening greeting like "Assalamualaikum," and then he introduced himself, and then he after that he told what he wanted to discuss in the video, which is about language variation. And his video is talk about like the language we use have different shades and colors, and then we use language in different situations, like for example in informal and formal situation, and then our way of using the language will change with regarding to the situation, social class, or kind of regional dialects. And then yeah, he also said that we have different levels of language variation as well. For example, yeah, this one, the language of a child would be different from the language of the middle-aged person. Or the situation between formal and informal or informal. Yeah, like that. Like for example, if you talk or what's that? Like if you talking with senior or and then between talking with junior, it must be there is a differences. Maybe when you talking to the senior or a lecturer, you must use formal language, yeah, like that. And meanwhile, if you when you're talking to like your friends, your junior, I think yeah, you uh, surely you use like a daily language, not a formal language, right? Yeah. So he also explained several types of change or differences. The first is pronunciation of words. Surely, in the word, like there are several accents in yeah in the word, like American accent, and then British accent, and then Singapore, and then Australian accent, and then yeah, etc. And I think all of the pronunciation of the words like the is there is a differences. And then the second usage of different lexical choice. This is for example in British we call biscuit is biscuit. Meanwhile, in American, we call it like cookies, for example, like that. And then usage of different structure. Like for example, in educated person, it must when talking to an educated person too. I think he surely talk with the structure. What's that? A good structure. Yeah. And then the next formal and informal variation. Like I said before, there are two situations that is very different. And then age of the speaker. Same like I said before that if you talking to senior lecturer or other or else, and you when you talking to junior or your friend, it's must I think it surely there is a differences. And then the last one is field specific vocabulary. Yeah. And then to that he closed his speech by reminding his audience that we have English, we have plural form and we have multiple shares of a single language. Yeah. Okay. Next to the second topic, it is English as a lingua franca. So the title of the video is English as a lingua franca by Dr. Will Baker, PhD. He is the director of the Center for Global Englishes and an associate professor in modern language and linguistics. So yeah, his credibility uh, is very can be guaranteed. So yeah, he opened his speech by directly discussing the topic, which is about English as a lingua franca. He directly talked about what is LF, the definition of LF, yeah, then without opening greeting like or maybe good morning, hello, or else. So and then content of the speech. So he talked about ELF is the use of English between speakers who don't share a first language. Yeah, so for him, according to him, English serves as a medium or a content language for intercultural communication. So the reason why we interested in LF because the numbers of speakers of LF or users of LF estimated to be around 2 billion users of English around the world. So yeah, so English as a lingua franca, and then according to him, he said that English as a lingua franca is different because LF is not about variety of English. So LF is different with word Englishes. Yeah, like that. Yeah. LF is not about the variety of English. It's about English used as a contact language or a language of intercultural communication. Meanwhile, word English is concerned with geographical and national location. So LF is not a variety of English and certainly not an international variety like that. So and then last one, he closed the speech without giving any conclusion or closing greeting, but he talked about research project that could help people understand what English as a lingua franca. So this is my summary or my notes from the two video. So we can next to the second presenter. So who wants to the second presenter? Is it Bimo? Bimo, do you want to be the second presenter?
My pleasure.
Pardon me?
My pleasure. If you
yeah.
allow me.
Wait. I will share your notes. Please wait. Yeah.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, guys. I think it's still a morning. Taking about two different videos about world Englishes. The first one is David Crystal - World Englishes by David Crystal. The speaker is David Crystal. He is the foremost writer and lecturer on the English language with a worldwide reputation and over 100 books to his name. He is honorary professor of linguistics at the University of Wales, Bangor, and in 1995 he was awarded the OBE for services to the English language. Uh, First, he opens the speech with the meaning of what the word English is. He starts with a claim that some people think that English doesn't have a plural meaning, but then he breaks the claim that do not fall into trap. English is obviously round and varied. I'm going to explain what this means. Uh, in the video, he says that some people really think that English is not correct grammatically, and English doesn't have a plural meaning like English is. But why does English exist? It's because English is not that small. English is not that tight. The fact is, around 15 or 20 years ago, English have developed to Englishes, and English is obviously round and varied. In this case, what I mean about around and varied is English could be adopted. English could be suited into some certain culture or some certain country. And the next is the content of the video is how varied English is. All countries takes up the English language and adopts it into some vocabularies to suit its circumstances. This thing happens because we want to have an English that reflects our local interest, our history, things that happened around us, and all the things that English language and adopted into some vocabularies to suit its circumstances means that, for example, there is in UK, David Crystal explained that there is a vocabulary that only exists in UK, like Clapham Junction. Clapham Junction is a train station that most of the time it's chaos, like the traffic of the people, the in and out, the everything that involves in Clapham Junction is mostly chaos. In Indonesia, we can adopt it as Jakarta. Like for example, oh my God, that room is like a Jakarta. But it's like a Jakarta. It means that that room or the previous room that the man have been before is a chaotic. Is it has some lot of people that involves in that room or some sort of things. And then he closes the video with some examples about the English that has been adopted, like Clapham Junction, like what I mentioned before, that reflects the chaotic situation, and Soho, that reflects adult things and place. He explains that every country has its own variety of English or adopted English. It depends on what the country related to. Like what I said in Asia, that related to chaotic situation or some traffic, we can use Jakarta as a reference. Or in center of the town, like the hyped up situation in Tasik, we can use Hazet or some sort of thing like that. Uh, and that is my first note for the first video. Sorry, Dinda, could you scroll down the page? Thank you. And the second note is English as lingua franca by Dr. Will Baker. First of all, because before I continue my presentation, I want to explain why this video is being watched by probably most of us. It's because the first is the video is quite not long enough. I guess it's only 6 minutes,
Yeah.
and the title is not catchy yet useful. English as lingua franca by Dr. Will Baker. Anyways, so the speaker is Dr. Will Baker. Who is Dr. Will Baker? He joined the staff in Modern Languages and Linguistics in 2009, and he's currently the director of the Center for Global Englishes and an associate professor in Modern Languages and Linguistics. His research focuses on global Englishes and intercultural communication, and he also supervised doctoral students in these areas as well as convening MA programs in global Englishes, intercultural communication, and English language teaching online. First of all, he opened the speech with the definition of English as a lingua franca or ELF, what ELF is and why is he interested in ELF. He explains that the reason is the use of English itself between two speakers who doesn't have to use their first language. So English serves as a medium for intercultural communication. He also says that the thing that made him interested is the user of ELF. It estimated around 2 billion users around the world. So, as you know, English as lingua franca is English as a medium to a conversation between two speakers that wasn't from a native speaker country like UK or USA or Australia. Next is the content of the video is about the function of ELF and the importance of distinguish ELF from English Foreign Language or EFL. ELF is important because of the implication for how we understand English and for the ownership of English. This means English is no longer centered on the Anglophone world and native speaker countries. He also says that even though the acronyms of ELF and EFL are quite similar, EFL as opposed to ELF looks at the communication between native speaker and non-native speaker, where the non-native speaker are expected to conform and adjust their language. In the contrary, ELF can involve native speaker, but the focus is on intercultural communication, so the non-native speaker are not expected to adjust or adapt their English to native speaker. So he said that on the video is the function of ELF and the importance to distinguish ELF from EFL, because as you guys know, the country that we live right now, Indonesia, is currently on EFL level. English is still a foreign language, and he wants to underline the importance of distinguish ELF and EFL, even though the acronyms are quite similar. And the next is he closes the video with giving credits and promotion to his upcoming projects with his friends that I assume his fellow lecturer. His upcoming projects aim to collect examples and documents features of ELF to help people to understand what ELF is and also look at the implication of language policy and language teaching. So I see why the closing of the video is like this. It's because uh, the video is not some kind of TED talk, or the video is not some kind of someone explain what, someone explain this, someone explain that. The video is just simply about Dr. Woodbaker tells his story, or tells his uh, what he's mastered of, which is ELF. So hence, while the closing of the video, he is giving credits and promotions to his upcoming projects with his friends. And if you are listening closely to the video, he tells us that all of his upcoming projects with his friends aims to collect samples and document features of ELF. So even though the closing is not a conclusion, he's still talking about ELF. He wants to make us more diligent, I guess. So I think that's all from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Bimo, for your explanation. Okay, next, who wants to be the third presenter?
Can I be
Okay.
the third?
So, yeah, time is
Okay.
yours. But wait, will screen. I will share
Okay.
your notes. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, can see.
Okay, so
Okay.
go on.
I have my first note is the varieties of English, and the speaker of the video is Ultra. Ultra is the YouTuber from Philippines that always share the education content like word Englishes, grammar, and many more. And first, he opened the speech with introducing the stance of word Englishes for the localized varieties of English as they are used or spoken in certain areas. For the example, in the Philippines, they have Taglish or Tagalog English. And he explained about the concept in the Asian context, who was introduced by Braj Kachru. There was a three concentric circles of Asian Englishes, and the three circles is inner circle with ENL or English as native language, the other circle with ESL, English as a second language, and the last is expanding circle with EFL. And the in the video, he tells about the country that use the inner circle, outer circle, and expanding circle. And when closing the speech, he said, "You should be aware of and recognize intercultural communication as you need to be sensitive to the people around you who belong to different cultural heritage and have their own linguistic identity. If you encounter them, you be able to avoid misunderstanding, avoid communication breakdown." There is my first note. So Dinda, can you scroll? Yep. Thank you. This is my second note. The title is English as a Lingua Franca or ELF. This video provided by Dr. Will Baker, the lecturer from University of Southampton. He opened the material with explain the definition of EFL. EFL is the use of English between speakers who don't share a verse language, so English serves as a medium or a contact language for intercultural communication. Speaker is Dr. Will Becker is talking about why we are interested in ELF for English as a lingua franca and tells us about the difference between non-native speaker and native speaker. And the last, he closed the speech by tells three researchers who uh, are sometimes referred to as the mothers of ELF, like Jennifer Jenkins, Barbara Sedhover, and Professor Anna Merlin. I think that's enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Aska, for your explanation. Yes, so we have same video, right? Okay, next, the last one, Dante. But wait.
Okay.
Please wait. Yeah. So Dante, time is yours.
Okay. The first note that I want to talk about is as the same as Bimo actually. Uh, from um from from Doctor. Oh no. The first is Iris Me F. Dolan from Department of English. The first thing that he said in the opening is we have to communicate with English. That is the first thing we need to do because it's where English is. It is very obvious enough for me. And every language is different. They have different structure. Or maybe different letters like Scandinavian letters or Japanese. I mean, and the most of the third world countries modificate their word of Englishes, like Singaporean English. I mean, and African English. They said traffic light robots, which means robot is something highly advanced in our understanding, but they mention it as traffic light. So the point in his presentation is we have to able to understand the different culture when we are talking with other people from there, because when we not understand the meaning of it, it's quite pointless to speak, and it's considering it's very rude. And we have to able to create unity in this present time. English is one of the many way to we can unite and understand each other, he said. And the next note is from Professor David Crystal. Same as before, English is being and came around to third world countries 10 or 15 years ago by the time of colonization has arrived. And then English become a global language. Every aspect of our culture, myths, and legends, fauna, flora, everything is talked in their English. So it might different to the English that we are understand. Every English in the world is different. It influenced by their own traditional culture and habit. So that's it from my presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Dante, for your explanation. So yeah, already the members have present the notes. So this time it's time to discussion. So, any response for each other about anything else? Maybe question or response or else? Aska, please open your mic first.
Sorry. Okay. Uh, okay. When we talk about varieties of English, there is interesting because we can know the accent from the other countries. Like I said before, in the Philippines, they have a Tagalog English. In Singapore, they have a Singaporean English. So uh, there is many factor to affect these varieties of English. Like maybe the cultural or something else. How about you guys?
Yeah. So thank you, Aska, for your response. And then yeah, I also have what's that? Have response. Yeah, I also interested in varieties of English, especially to your video, Aska, about from ultra, right? Yeah. So I agree with he what's that? He statement that Indonesia wait um that Indonesia, Chinese, Korean, and Japan use English as a foreign language because, yeah, as we know that in our country, Indonesia has a two language, which is Indonesian and then a local language. For example, like you, Aska, you from Sudanese, right? So you almost of all your day your I mean you use Sudanese, right? Yeah, and then for me, I from Jakarta, and then I use my local language, Betawi. Yeah, itu. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, that's why English is not be the second language in Indonesia because yeah, we have two language Indonesia, Indonesian, and then local language. So, and then I read in article that uh, the people of Indonesia use Indonesian only 20%. Yeah, because we as the people of Indonesia, surely we in daily life we use my local language, right? We do not use like formal Indonesian like that. Yeah, so yeah, that's my response. So any response for you guys, Dante or Bimo?
Yeah, it's can I nice
Yeah,
can I talk?
sure.
Yeah,
Perfect.
thanks. Yeah, it's very interesting because my day-to-day life in speaking language is very odd because when we speak Indonesian, I can't speak it properly.
Yeah.
We tend to mix it up with our local language. The same with English. I didn't speak
Mm.
it properly because um, my culture and my habit is forced me to talk like the locals.
Yeah.
It's very hard to adjust and talk like other people in the in outside our region because traditionally, especially me, I'm very uh, forced to do it in traditional way. That's my response to it. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Dante. So Bimo, is there any response from you?
I think that I have a quite small response for the today's topic. I guess I think why Indonesia is not a ESL, English as a second language, because uh, like all you guys said, we already have a second language, and I think most of the people is not ready yet. All of them still has their own proud for their own languages, for their own local languages, and I don't think the education is proper enough to execute to develop Indonesia to an ESL. I think that's all for me.
Okay, thank you so much, Bimal. So yeah, uh, I think we can what's that? Um, we can agree with that. Why Indonesia it's not uh, use English as a second language because yeah, Indonesia has its language itself, like Indonesian and local language, and yeah, but um, also Indonesia has also although Indonesia what is that? Still learning English, and uh, mm, and English in school. Also, there is English in course in school uh, and campus, right? Okay, so I think this discussion is enough, because the time is too long, I think. So yeah, thank you so much for your attendance and the discussion, and then